This video is brought to you by DICERAGE. For all your battle reports, reviews, tutorials and tactics, go to www.dicerage.com today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Lee from the Bleepop Podcast, and today I'm presenting another KHADOR Tactics video. This video series is for the guys and girls who are just starting their armies off in the KHADOR faction in the game Warmachine. In this video series we'll take an in-depth look at warcasters, solos, units and warjacks of the KHADOR faction. In the last episode guys, we looked at Epic Sorcerer, one of the KHADORian warcasters for that faction, and this week we are going to look at the warjack titled the Spriggan. To me, the Spriggan is one of the most powerful jacks in the KHADOR faction, just because you can either play him really aggressive or actually as a defensive jack, but he has such an amazing skill set that will be shown in this video that you might be swayed to take this jack in your next game. If you've just bought the box set, I would recommend that you get the Spriggan for your next jack, because he is just too good to pass up. So let's see what defines the Spriggan from every other jack, from reading a bit of the information that is given in the KHADORian Army book. When the Queen ordered the mechanics to assemble a warjack to turn the tide of the motherland's ongoing border wars, they provided her with the Spriggan. The Spriggan is armed with dual grenade launchers. This was added to respond to almost any battlefield situation. With these grenades, it can tear apart massed infantry with its shrapnel, and it can also damage a warjack. These explosive grenades are supplemented with chemical flares that illuminate the enemy wherever it hides. The Spriggan's most potent weapon is his massive lance, with which it can pierce a warjack from cortex to boiler before the enemy machine can close to defend itself. For more information on the Spriggan, you can read it in the KHADORian Army book. So let's get straight into this review, shall we? We are going to look at the stats of this fierce warjack first. The stats are very simple. He has a speed of 4, a strength of 12, a mat of 6, a rat of 4, a defense of 10, and armor 19. But that armor can increase, but we'll look at that in the weapons section. Like most KHADOR jacks, he is quite slow, but his armor and his mat make up for being quite a slow warjack. His damage box is very similar to most KHADORian jacks, 2 columns with 5 damage boxes and then 4 columns of 6. We'll now move on to the second segment, which is the weapons. He is armed with obviously 2 grenade launchers, an assault shield and a war lancer. But let's first take a look at this grenade launcher. As you can see, it has a range of 10, a rate of fire 1, an AoE of 3, and a power of 10. But the one thing that stands out for this grenade launcher is its targeting flare. The card states that instead of making an attack with this weapon, you may place an 3-inch AoE anywhere completely within 10 inches of this model, with a center point in this model's line of sight. Ignoring intervening models, while a model is within this AoE, it loses camouflage and stealth, and models can ignore cloud effects when determining line of sight to it. The AoE remains in play for 1 turn. So let's see this in action, shall we? Here we have a Spriggan escorted by Irusk. Now, the model I'm using here is Kalbalok. Kalbalok does not have stealth, but in this case we'll just say that this target model has stealth. So as you can see, there is a stealth model in front of these 2. So the Spriggan will use a targeting flare to make this model be seen. You place an AoE 3 over the model so it can be seen, so this target model becomes seen and Irusk will now take a shot at it. The targeting flare is very good because it can take away those pesky annoying solos that mainly have stealth. It's also very good to emerge units that have stealth as well, so then your forces can follow up that flare with actual bullets to destroy that target unit. Okay, let's move on to the assault shield. Now the assault shield only has a power strength 14, but the bonus of this shield is that you get +2 armor when you are being attacked. So your armor goes from 19 all the way to 21. But remember guys, if your left arm is crippled, your armor will go down to 19 due to the Spriggan not being able to lift up his shield. So make sure that you remember that, guys. Okay, moving on to the third weapon, we have the War Lance. The War Lance is possibly one of my favourite weapons in the KHADOR Army, and because it's on this Spriggan it makes it even more dangerous. Now it has a power strength 18, so it's going to do quite a lot of damage, but also it has reach, so it can reach models within 2 inches away from target base of the Spriggan. So it becomes very useful when you charge something and then you still have reach. So for example, if we charge with the Spriggan, he has a normal speed of 4, and then you add that 3 inches for the charge, so he only has a speed of 7, but then you can add that extra 2-inch reach. So think about that, guys, when you're declaring a charge. Now with the weapons out of the way, we're going to look at the abilities. Now the abilities of the card are quite simple. We have Bulldoze, which is a very useful thing, and we also have Powerful Charge. Now Powerful Charge, we'll get this out of the way first, is to do with the War Lance, which we just talked about. The Powerful Charge is basically this model gains +2 to charge attack rolls with this weapon. So it becomes very, very dangerous. So let's have a look at his mat. Remember that mat was 6? That eventually on the charge becomes mat 8. So you'll be hitting most things, but just in case, you might want to boost, just to let you know. Okay, the other ability that Spriggan has is Bulldoze. Now let's take a look at this, shall we? Bulldoze. When this model advances into base-to-base contact with an enemy model, it can push that model up to 2 inches directly away from it. A model can be pushed by Bulldoze only once per action. Bulldoze has no effect when this model makes a trample power attack. So let's see this in action, shall we? So here we have a Spriggan that has already declared a charge on the Axer. He's spent the 1 focus and he has a charge range of 7. Unfortunately, there are a couple of whelps in the way, so he has a charge of 7 inches. So we'll measure that with this centimetre ruler, and I like to put the focus counter at 7 inches due to Bulldoze. Now that he's going to hit base to base with this whelp, he is pushed 2 inches aside. I like to use the reach gauge to move the model 2 inches. He then hits the next one, and that also moves aside 2 inches. And he'll move up to finish the charge at 7. Now that he's charged the Axer, let's see if he's in reach with that War Lancer. He is, and that's how you use Bulldoze, guys. Okay, with Bulldoze and Powerful Charge, guys, these abilities are very, very useful for the Spriggan. This is why I think most people would prefer taking this over a Juggernaut sometimes, just because you can make him even more powerful if you give him the right spells, like Superiority, for example. Okay, with the abilities out of the way, let's have a look at the overall review. To me, I think the Spriggan is one of the most powerful jacks we have. It has an incredible skill set, which makes it a very defensive and offensive jack. It has Powerful Charge, which is a very, very good thing when you want to hit something with high armor. It also has Bulldoze, which some players may forget about. You can charge at a target model and just push everything out the way. It is very, very good. Okay, with all this being said, I give the Spriggan an 8 out of 10. But what do you guys think? Why don't you comment below and give your ratings? I enjoyed hearing all the comments about Epic Sorcerer, and unfortunately how many mistakes I made in the last video, but hopefully I haven't made too many this time. Now guys, don't forget to like this video. A like is always appreciated. It means a lot to me that you guys are liking the content that I'm bringing out. And guys, I hope this video has helped you young KHADORian players out there, and possibly players who, you know, go against the KHADOR Army. So remember guys, take care and have a good one, and oh yeah, episode 3 will be out soon.